Rise and shine, everyone. It is Friday, October the 25th, 7:30 in the morning. Thank you so much for tuning in with us this morning. We have a really interesting topic that we're going to be diving in, and we have a special guest in the house. So, of course, every Friday morning, we get to visit with our friend Ellen Hurst with Alabama Cares. And Ellen has brought in Kenny Burrell. He is the Director of Hospice Education in Georgia and South Carolina. So we are going to be asking Kenny a lot of questions about hospice, because there are a lot of misconceptions surrounding hospice, and there's a lot of information that we need to know. So with that, welcome so much. Welcome, Kenny and Ellen. Hey. And I think we should go ahead and start off our Friday with our happy dance.
We do a happy dance.
We do a happy dance. We like to get loosened up.
No,
it's
no.
okay. It's too early.
It is early. It is early.
Too early for a happy dance?
Yes.
Did you know if you happy dance, it kind of wakes you up a little
wakes you up a little bit.
bit,
Come
you
on.
know?
Oh, gosh. I
No?
don't know. At my age, I might hurt something.
I'm just glad that you're here,
All right,
though.
well,
I
thank
mean,
you.
I know that you're over Georgia and South Carolina, but you're my friend.
Well, thank you.
And I appreciate it. And I thought, who else better to talk about hospice than my friend? So,
You know, and that is a topic of conversation that I'm sure has a lot of misconceptions. I know I have a lot of misconceptions about, or just, I don't know. I don't even know if I have misconceptions. I think I just have a lack of knowledge. You know, when somebody
So
says,
many
oh, we
people
work
do.
for hospice, I think, oh, okay, well, that's when someone is on their last bit of life and you have to have somebody that comes in. But in learning about this and doing some research for our conversation this morning, I realized that I don't know anything about hospice at all. So I'm really glad that you're here.
Well, thank you.
I want to talk about how you two know each other. So I'm guessing because in the world of what you do, you've met through that, or
yes.
is there
Well,
another?
I've known his wife's family ever since I was little. Your in-laws,
Yes.
knew my
Yes. David and
grandparents, my
David and Kathy
parents.
Duhan. Everybody in
Yes.
Jacksonville knows them. I love
Yes.
them. I've got the best in-laws in the world.
Yeah, they're
you know.
wonderful.
I
And
love
I-
them so much, they built a house right beside us.
That is love.
Yeah.
And then, and then Stacy, my cousin, is really close friends with his Stacy.
Yes,
so
yes.
so we've known each other for a real long time. But then Kenny and I just became a little bit closer during the last few years when you were going through some things as well. So because of what we do for work. So.
Yeah, and you get to work hand in hand, you know, with this as
Yeah.
well. I mean, I guess with Georgia and South
Yes.
Carolina, with you're in that area, but I'm sure things kind of cross over as well to
Exactly.
Alabama. You might have some patients that might be receiving care in Alabama or vice versa. So,
Yes.
well, good. Well, I'm really glad that you invited him on this morning. I want to just start with if you could explain what hospice care really is and help us clear up some of those common misconceptions, such as the belief that it's only for patients near the
Yes.
very end of life.
Yeah, so that's a great point, Courtney. I explained this to a physician yesterday. Going on hospice is not the final stage of your life. It's a different starting line of your journey. You know, I'm 55 years old. I don't remember my first 2 years of life. I don't remember who changed my diaper. I don't remember who fed me. I don't remember who gave me a bottle. But somebody did it. Mm-hmm. And then my whole life I've been able to do that. But there's going to become another point in my life that I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm going to have to rely on somebody to help me, maybe dressing, feeding and bathing, and other things that I take for granted I can do today. And I don't want that burden to be on my family. I would rather that be on professionals. And basically what hospice is, all the things that you typically get when you go to a hospital, we bring it to your home. We keep it in your home and keep you in your home and keep you safe, because the numbers show if we get patients on hospice sooner, they live 30-40% longer because we're keeping them out of the hospital, we're watching their medications, and we're keeping them from having a lot of falls.
Wow, and they get to be in a comfortable place. I can
Yes.
imagine that being in a hospital can be kind of depressing sometimes, and you can have that sadness can affect your health. And in my opinion, I'm not sure, but when you're at home,
Oh, well, there's studies that prove that.
Is
that your
there? Okay.
attitude.
Exactly.
I would think
Yeah.
so. I would imagine I'd be way
Yes.
more comfortable being at home.
Like your
receiving care.
mindset, you know, I'm a big preacher of positivity creates more positivity, and
Yes.
negativity does the same.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, if you're already sick and then you're in the hospital and you have to stay there for long periods of time, I mean, you're going to go, I mean, there's some people that go downhill because they get depressed and they just give up.
Well, if you ask a physician, why did you get into medicine? Most of them will tell you, I did it to help people. And then ask the follow-up question. Are you able to do that? And then you get that, wait a minute. Insurance dictates how we take care of people. So if you're in a hospital, I hate to tell you this, but I'm going to be honest with you. If you're in a hospital and your family's there, they're worried about you because they're getting paid to take care of you. They don't really care if your husband or children have a pillow, blanket. They kind of do, but really don't.
Yeah. That's not their concern.
We look at the whole family as one unit of care. A lot of times when we have a patient on hospice, the family will reach out to us and go, hey, y'all are really more benefit to us. Reaching out, having conversations, because you do get a chaplain, you do get a social worker, you do get people that come out and help you with bathing. So all the different benefits that you get that people are not aware of, most people say, our biggest complaints we hear every day from our patients and our caregivers, they're always the same too. I wish somebody would just been honest with me, and I wish I'd known about this service a lot sooner.
Yeah. Why do people not know about the service? Is it because of that misconception, like, oh, they're calling in hospice? You hear that, oh, they're calling in hospice, and that is kind of meant to be like, okay, it's that time.
Well, there's three big problems in hospice. Problem number one, when people hear the word hospice, they hear dying. Problem number two, what does a true 6-month hospice patient look like? And when I ask physicians that question, I get the blank stare. Well, I don't really know. So our jobs is go out there and educate them what a true 6-month patient looks like. Not saying that we're, hey, if you're doing this, you're going to pass away in 6 months. No. We're just looking at averages and studies of what's going on with your body to see kind of what's going on, because we've had patients on hospice for 5 years.
Yes.
We've had patients that graduate. I've seen a patient in a hospital bed that I'm going, they're not even going to make the ride home. And then I find out 6 months later they graduated off. We brought out a cake, we threw a party, and they have bounced back. So it's not always what you think it is.
Yeah. And then there's people too, people don't realize, like, because me working with caregivers, I've had patients that we've had caregivers taking care of their loved ones that have, say, for instance, dementia, and they qualify because of other health problems and all that stuff. They qualify for hospice, and sometimes they've been on it, like you said, for years, and it's because they keep requalifying or recertifying or however you guys call that, and then they stay on it for a long time. But then again, like you said, then there are some people that require, like, say, for instance, somebody who has a cancer diagnosis that maybe they caught it pretty early on, but they're so sick that they qualify for hospice. But like you said, they get better and they go into remission, or there's all kinds of things that can happen, not just death. Correct?
Exactly.
Yes.
Wow, I'm really glad to clear that up.
And that's what I tell people. Hospice, this is a Medicare benefit. This is a living benefit. This is not a dying conversation. We're all going to die, and we know that. But till we die, let's keep on living. I'll never forget, I had a patient one time, and he said, I'm not going on hospice. I know I've got cancer. I know I don't have long to live. But if I go on hospice, I can't continue to do my job. I said, what is your job? He said, I'm a biscuit maker at Jack's. I love doing that. That's not my passion. I said, you can still make biscuits at Jack's. You're kidding me. I'm like, yeah. You can still do whatever you want to. And this man made biscuits at Jack's up to 2 weeks before he passed away.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, so this is a living benefit. This is not a dying benefit.
But you gave him his dignity and his self-worth and all those things, so that when he did pass away, he passed away with that, he was happy.
Exactly.
Until we die, let's keep. What was the quote you just said? Because it was really amazing.
Until we die, let's just keep on living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what hospice does.
Exactly.
I mean, and I'm going to tell you, I had hospice for my mom and dad both. It's the most wonderful thing ever.
Well, I just had the biggest experience with my dad. That's how Ellen and I got involved, because when you do our business, you understand it. But when it hits home, when it's personal, it's your family, your mind gets a little twisted. So I had to reach out to Ellen to help with my dad, because we had some issues going on. My dad was in a nursing home. He was driving up 6 months ago, doing great, playing golf, doing whatever. One fall, another hospital stay. He wound up in the hospital for 45 days, come out in a nursing home with dementia, and he rapidly had a rapid decline that we talk about. Well, Thank God my dad was on hospice. I work in Atlanta, so I have to drive through Atlanta every single day.
Oh, bless you.
It ain't like going to Walmart here. So my dad, I'll never forget, it's the first week of August. They called me from the nursing home. I'm in Atlanta, and they said, Kenny, your dad's not doing well. He's got COVID. I went, uh-oh. Well, they called me back Tuesday. Kenny, your daddy's really not doing well. He's getting worse. Wednesday, the hospice nurse calls me and said, Kenny, we're moving your dad to daily visits. Thursday, she calls me. I am so thankful my dad was on hospice. Here's why. The hospice nurse went into his room. She could tell the shape that he was in. She called me. She said, Kenny, where are you at? I said, I'm in Atlanta. She goes, can you get back here as quick as possible? I said, I'm in Atlanta. I can't. I mean, it's impossible. She FaceTimed me with my dad. And I got to talk to my dad. I got to tell him I loved him. He told me he loved me. An hour later, my dad was gone. So that's what hospice meant to me personally. So that's why I love doing what I do, is go out there and debunking all these myths and all the misconceptions about this, because once we sit down and really explain to people what hospice is and what it's not, people get that, whew, I didn't understand that. I've had physicians that I've had conversations with that go, nobody's ever explained it to me like that.
And they're doctors.
And they're physicians, yeah.
Yes.
So we're probably one of the only industries out there that I can go up to somebody and give them my card and they assume they know what I do.
Yeah.
But they really don't know what we do.
They really don't know. No, they don't.
Thank you for sharing that story with us,
Yeah.
and for being here to help educate our viewers. You shared with us a guide called The Four Windows, and I want to go to a break real quick because I really want to dive into this graphic that you sent us, because it's really great information. And so I also want to talk with you viewers. If you know someone who can benefit from watching this, and we all do, please make sure to share this this video with your friends and family and anyone who needs to learn more, because I think we all do. So with that, we want to say stay tuned. You're watching Rise and Shine right here on WEAC TV 24.
Some say college isn't for single parents or people who work full-time. I'm here to prove them wrong. I'm a first-generation American, the father of Dion, and a non-traditional student at Gadsden State Community College. As a sergeant in the Army National Guard, I've watched soldiers with degrees progress faster in their careers. So today, I'm in school, involved in the Veterans Upper Bound program, and excited to see what's in store for my career. I truly am earning my wings at Gadsden State.
Come out and check out the Alabama Tractor difference. We can take care of all your needs of parts, sales, and service for RTVs, zero turns, and tractors and construction equipment. See us here in Lincoln at 620 Speedway Industrial Drive. Or come visit us here in Asheville at 275 6th Avenue, or give us a call at 205-594-7000.
At Southern States Bank, we pride ourselves on being your bank. We're your neighbors and involved in the community. We're the bank featuring the Southern Rewards checking account, a cashback account with no ATM fees. We are on the cutting edge and always have a smiling face to help you out. So come to Southern States Bank, where we are committed to great service and being a great neighbor. Let us be the bank for you and your business.
I'm Alan Parnell, Parnell Insurance Agency. We've been here in Oxford and Alabama, Tallapoosa, Georgia since 1990. With Auto Owners Insurance, we're able to give customers competitive pricing along with excellent coverages. Parnell Insurance can handle all of your personal, commercial, and life insurance needs. We have a very experienced staff, both personal and commercial. All together, we've got about 125 years experience. Come see what our insurance agency can do for you in Oxford, Alabama, and Tallapoosa, Georgia.
Auto Owners Insurance. At Family Prosthetic and Medical Supply, we care about you. We offer custom prosthetics, orthotics, diabetic shoes, and durable medical supplies. We're located here in Alexandria, Alabama, where it's a country feel but professional care. Come see us today.
Rise and shine and welcome back. It's 7:45 on your Friday morning, October the 25th. If you're just tuning in, we are visiting Ellen Hurst with Alabama Cares and Kenny Burrell, Director of Hospice in Georgia and in South Carolina. And so when we went to break, we were talking about a guide that Kenny provided us, which is called the 4 Windows. And so, Kenny, could you walk us through these windows and explain, how they help identify which patient might benefit from hospice?
Okay.
So we can show that.
So thank you. So typically what we do, we call it the 4 windows. And not to say just because a patient's doing this, they might have a life expectancy of 6 months. But this is the time that we need to start considering when we need to start having conversations. So the first one is changing in ADLs. What that means is activities of daily living. So, when you go to the doctor, they're going to ask you questions. Can you bathe yourself? Can you feed yourself? Can you toilet yourself? Can you dress yourself? Has any of that changed? So when we look at somebody that says, hey, I used to be able to take a shower. Now my shower is sitting on the side of a toilet washing myself. I used to get up and go to the bathroom. Now bathroom could be a bedside potty, or with most time what we see with our patients is now moved to a depends. They have to rely on that. Somebody says, hey, I used to eat with a fork. Now I eat with a spoon. Now I eat with a straw. Now I could be a picker, or now somebody's got to feed me. The second window, we said this right here, we call this a functional decline. So I tell people, think about patients that get up and move around, they're okay. Then they have a fall or they get COVID. Now they notice they have to hold onto a wall to walk, or they hold on to furniture, or now they use a walker or a cane, or now some of these patients have moved to a wheelchair. The third window, this is the big window, this is Medicare. Medicare says if we got a patient doing this, we call this a rapid decline. So when I hear the word rapid, I think, wow. But here's what rapid decline is for Medicare. It's 2 things. Number 1, have they had 10% body weight change up or down in 6 months? Number 2, have they had multiple ER visits or multiple hospitalizations? And the last window, this is our big one. We call this the life event. So I tell these physicians, if you have a patient that has changes in ADLs, now we're having some functional decline, now we throw on top of rapid decline, here's the big one. We call this a life event. If a life event were to happen, this life event happened to my dad. That's why I lost my dad as soon as I did. A life event could be COVID, flu, pneumonia, staph, another fall, or in some instances, they lose a spouse, child, or sibling. That patient might not be here in 6 months. So when I do that with physicians, they're like, why is nobody explaining it to us like that? So kind of painting the picture of what a patient looks like that could benefit from hospice. Not to say if they're doing all this, they're not going to be here in 6 months, no. But it's saying this is the time in our life that we're like, hey, it's time that we need some extra help.
Yeah.
And usually when people have the ADLs, I know that like in our work, we look at ADLs and IADLs.
And ADLs, let's just make sure our viewers know that means activities of daily living.
Yeah, can you clothe yourself? Can you feed yourself? Can you bathe yourself? Can you toilet yourself? Has any of that changed?
Yeah, and then the IADLs are things like managing money, using a telephone, cleaning the house, going shopping, transportation, and that kind of thing. We look at both of those, but hospice just looks at the ADLs,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The ADLs and then the functional decline, rapid decline, and well, I guess at the end of life
It's a
event.
total picture.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's really good. I mean, when we're trying to understand those things, to be able to look at the total picture is so important because
Yeah.
it's not just one thing.
Right. And two, the windows, if you really look at them, I mean, like, especially the first few of the windows, those things could be reversed. I mean, they could go back to where,
Exactly.
like you said, they could graduate.
And that's typically what we see is we actually, once we get a patient at home, keep them out of the hospital, keep medications regulated, they tend to come back and do better.
Yeah.
So that's how we're able to get some of these patients that were having frequently falls, having multiple hospital stays. Now we stay in the home with them. That kind of goes away, and that's what extends the life.
And they can gain that weight back.
Exactly. The weight loss comes back.
Yeah.
And, a lot of times I'll have physicians ask me because when I painted that picture for you, that's when we say, hey, somebody needs hospice. But somebody could also say, hey, That could be a younger person that needs home help. To me, the key word we look for is one word, is thrive. If a patient can thrive and they're going to
Yes.
get better, let's bring in home help.
Yeah.
But if that disease is going to continue down the same path, let's do hospice. We're the highest level of health care a patient can get wherever you call home. One of the biggest trophies we have right now, hospice came out as a Medicare benefit in the 80s. Who was one of the presidents in the 80s?
Reagan.
It was Reagan, but who was before Reagan? Jimmy Carter.
Carter.
Jimmy Carter has been on hospice now for 20 months. His family said there is no way that he would still be here today if he wouldn't have been on hospice.
I agree. I agree with
Let
that.
that sink in for
Yeah.
just a moment.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
and he's,
powerful.
gosh, he's pushing 100.
Yeah, he's close
Yeah,
to
he
100.
is.
He's supposed to have his
Yeah.
100th birthday, yes.
Yes, yes.
Wow. And he's
Yeah.
been on hospice for 20 months.
20 months.
Well, you're getting that great health care, and then you're getting to be at home. And you had mentioned earlier about the burden of your family, and it's that, but also the knowledge. I mean, I wouldn't know. Like, if somebody was in my home and I was there to take care of them, I would try my best, but goodness, I would not be great at it. I mean, I would try, but I wouldn't know because
they're
I've
the
never
most
been educated
wonderful
in
resource.
that.
And I'm telling you, I'm just going to go ahead and brag on you because my experience, personal experience and professional experience with hospice, those people are in hospice not because they just thought, oh, well, I just think that's the road I want to go down because I want to make lots of money. That's not why they're in hospice. People that are in hospice, nurses, social workers, chaplains, administrators like yourself, they're in that business because they have a heart, and I'm telling you, they're the most wonderful. I mean, I couldn't do it. I mean, like you said, the nurse that called you and FaceTimed you. I had the nurse call me when my mama passed away and said, it's time. You need to come and I mean, I appreciate that so very. I mean, I could never repay. Ever repay that nurse for ever doing that for me because that was a gift.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that hospice gives a gift to the, either for end of life or to extend their life. And when they graduate, that would be wonderful. And does your hospice, do you also, because I know a lot of hospices have home health and hospice.
We just do hospice and palliative care. Yeah.
Okay.
And what care?
We do palliative care.
I don't know that.
Palliative care, the way I explain it to everybody, every hospice company does palliative care because what that is symptom and pain management.
Okay.
We do that. But then you also have symptom and pain management for patients that basically are not at the hospice time yet. Let's say if it's patients that says, hey, I want to continue radiation chemotherapy or I want to continue dialysis, that is what we call a palliative patient.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we're learning so much.
Yeah.
Or I am.
But back to your point, Ellen, a great point, because when I walk through hospitals, especially like in Atlanta, let's say I go through an Emory hospital and they see my name tag. When I see nurses and physicians and I see different people, I get one or two responses. The first one is, I can't do what you do. Or I get, God really called me to do that. I should be doing. This is a calling for us. We love helping people with misconceptions about what we do and showing them, hey, this is just another journey in your life. Let us be part of that. And that's what we love doing. We love educating the families, educating
yes.
everybody, because people just really don't understand. You don't know what you don't know.
There you
I
go.
say that all the time. I say
And
that all-
that's so true. And you have that peace of mind when it comes to it. When you are educated on something and you have an understanding, it helps you have that peace.
I totally agree, and I use this analogy all the time, but like, I hate math. Don't make me do math.
Same.
Please don't make me do math. But it's, my brain just doesn't work that way.
Mine
There's some
either,
people
Ellen.
that,
I'm with
but it's the same thing with anything. I think when you don't understand something, you get frustrated,
Sure.
and then you don't want to deal with it because it's frustrating, and you just, kind of, if you don't talk about it, it doesn't exist, and all those kind of things that happen, you know what I mean? And I think with everything, knowledge is power. That's why I'm so passionate about bringing education to the public about everything. That's why we have this every Friday, to bring this to our audience, because I feel like the more you know about something, you're empowering yourself, and you're you're going to be better not only for the person you're taking care of, I mean, duh, right? You know, but for yourself, because caregivers burn out, and by the time they come to me for our caregiver program, they probably should have came to us like a year or 2, 3, 4 years ago, because they're so stressed out. But it's because they don't talk to anyone. And like you said, I mean, how wonderful is it? I mean, and it's not going to hurt you, you know, for all of you out there that, you know, have come to that crossroad where you know, may have had to choose whether or not you have hospice or not. I mean, I think Kenny brings a good point that at least have the conversation.
That's what I'm saying. I'm 55 years old, so I would encourage every one of your viewers that are 55, 45, if you have elderly parents, sit down and have a conversation. Because with me being 55, I asked my dad, you know, if you get to a point in your life, do you want me to come change a diaper and help take you a shower, help give you a shower? His answer was no.
Of course.
But then he asked me back that question, Kenny, do you feel comfortable coming to do that? No. That's where professionals come in. Give them their dignity. One of my friends, I'll never forget, his dad, we were talking, I could just tell by the stress on his face. He was wore out. I said, what's going on? He said, I'm going over my dad's every night, and I'm wore out. I work all day long. I go over there, and I'm having to give him a bath. I'm having to feed him. I'm just wore out. I'm being pulled in every direction. Well, he kind of painted the picture of a hospice patient. I said, he goes, well, my dad don't need hospice. I can take care of him.
Because nobody can take care of him on
And I said,
like
well, hold on. I finally talked him into getting his dad on hospice. And he said, you know, one of his favorite pictures at his dad's funeral was a picture of him holding his dad's hand, where he could just go over there and they could talk about war stories and talking about what happened when they were kids and things growing up, that he got to go enjoy. He got to go be the son and enjoy his dad, that he wasn't having to be the caregiver. You know, we get asked all the time by different churches and different organizations, we want to start a dementia support group. Okay. Number one, everybody says that, but when you get invited to these things, nobody shows up. So here's why. I had a parent that had dementia.
Yep.
When you're taking care of a dementia patient, when you get a break, you don't want to go talk about it. You just want a break.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me go somewhere, let me do something else. I don't want to sit around and hash about it. I want a break.
Yeah.
You know?
I want to go get my hair done. I want to go have a cup of coffee with my sister.
Or just sit in silence
or
and read a book.
I want to go have Calgon take me away or something. Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know, that really puts a lot of things in perspective, because we want to, you know, you say, well, who's going to take care of me when I'm older? You know, well, your kids, but it doesn't have to be like that, and you can just spend that quality time with your loved one and allow a professional to take care of their needs.
And a professional gets paid to stay up at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, or 3 o'clock in the morning. And you know, you brought a good point up too, because a lot of times we see caregivers like female caregivers are taking care of their dad. Well, of course the dad doesn't want their daughter to give them a bath, or you know what I mean, or a son to give the mom a bath, because like you said, it's a dignity thing.
The dignity.
You know, they're like, they don't want their, you know, I mean, they don't want their child to do that.
I remember taking care of my granddad, and he did not want me to do those things. You know, he didn't want me helping with the cleanup and process.
Because it's a dignity thing, you know,
You don't want it, you don't want your, you know, and again, having somebody who is trained in helping with that.
And it's different when somebody comes in, because then they can say, oh, well, the nurse is coming in, or the aide is coming in, or, you know, that they know that that's their job. And it's not, it's kind of like they're a hospital worker, but like you said, at home.
Yeah.
Well, we have more things to talk about. I know I have a lot of questions still for me to ask. And if you have questions, please let us know. Comment on our Facebook and share this information with your friends and family. So with that, we'll be right back. You're watching Rise and Shine right here on WEAC TV 24.
Campers Unlimited, we offer a no-pressure experience, no hidden fees, and great service after the sale, making us one of the fastest-growing RV dealers in the Southeast. With our second location in Oxford, we offer a great selection of over 220 campers from top brands, including Grand Design. Our mission is to help friends and family spend time together in the great outdoors. At Campers Unlimited, you aren't just a customer, you are family. Check out our inventory at campersunlimited.net or come see us at Gaston or Oxford.
Hello, I'm Taylor Sloan with the City of Oxford, with a word about one of our city's most precious resources, water. Clean water enriches our lives in so many ways, but we cannot afford to take it for granted. Remember, every time you pour something unnatural down the drain or in the environment, and every time you litter, our beautiful lakes and creeks suffer. Our city is beautiful. Let's all join together to keep it that way. Stop pollution where it starts, and help protect our waters for life.
What can you buy for $10? A hat? A milkshake? 166 channels plus live sports? That's right, for only $10 you can get 166 channels of classic TV shows and movies, including the latest news update from all around the world and local sports. Just simply go to 24ctn.com and click download, and then for only $10 you can have access to the best TV available.
Some say college isn't for single parents or people who work full-time. I'm here to prove them wrong. I'm a first-generation American, the father of Dion, and a non-traditional student at Gadsden State Community College. As a sergeant in the Army National Guard, I've watched soldiers with degrees progress faster in their careers. So today, I'm in school, involved in the Veterans Upper Bound program, and excited to see what's in store for my career. I truly am earning my wings at Gadsden State.
At DVP Auto Group, we have a wide selection of any type of car you could want. We offer financing for all types of credit. Not only can we help you to purchase a car affordably, but we can help you with any issues you may experience with your car as well. We provide oil change, tire repair, brake service, or anything else you may need. We also gladly accept trade-ins, and if you're willing, we can help you drive away in a new car the same day. If you don't see something you like in the lot, we'll help you find one, whether you buy from us or not. Come see us today.
Rise and shine, everyone. Welcome back. It's 8 o'clock on your Friday morning, October the 25th. We are visiting with Kenny Burrell. He is the Director of Hospice Education in Georgia and South Carolina. And of course, it is Alabama Cares Friday, so we have Ellen Hurst with us as well. So if you're just tuning in, we've been talking about hospice, and we're here learning about hospice education. And Kenny, I think it's really important that everybody does, and I'm guessing that's why there is that role there, that hospice education, because again, I'm learning a lot, and I really thought hospice was one thing, and it's not what I thought. It's much different. Mm-hmm. You mentioned that hospice is about focusing on quality of life. You know, I loved that quote that you said, while we're here, let's live, right? Yeah. You said it better than I just did. Say that quote again.
I said, this is a living benefit.
Yes.
Until we pass away, let's just keep on living.
Yes, let's do. And so we've talked about how, and I really want to elaborate on this, how does hospice care really help to improve a patient's physical, emotional, and spiritual comfort as well? I mean, just that comfort that you have when you're going, because as a human, when we're going through something, it's not just about all of our loved ones. I mean, we're experiencing that, right? I mean, so is the patient too. How does that really improve their quality?
Well, the biggest thing is, people, hospice affects everybody 3 different ways. We affect them financially. Mm. We help with medications. We help with equipment. We help them clinically. We help to keep them well, keep them at home, keep them out of the hospital. But the biggest point about that, you did mention that, we do help them spiritually. Mm-hmm. You are assigned a chaplain. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to throw this out there because this is really important. Mm-hmm. Every family we talk to, like, I don't need the chaplain. Don't need the chaplain. I've got a pastor. I had a pastor with my dad. I had a pastor with my mom when my mom passed away 8 years ago. But I'm going to be real with you. When I lost my mom, family and friends were there for a couple of weeks. I was getting cards, I was getting phone calls, messages, maybe a casserole might got dropped off. My church family was there for about 3 weeks. After that, everybody went back to their normal life. But having a chaplain, they're going to reach out with you. They're going to stay in touch with you 14 months. Oh, wow. They're going to stay in touch with you on the anniversary date of the dad. They're going to stay on special anniversaries, Christmases, holidays. I just had the chaplain of my dad's hospice reach out to me a couple weeks ago. Kenny, how you doing? Everything okay? Tell me stories that my dad had shared with him. So that's the biggest thing that we get to do is in our industry, we have the right, we have the ability to bring in that spiritual aspect, and we have whatever kind of religion that they believe in, we can kind of have resources to do that. So.
And we're in the South, but there is a church on every
Yes.
corner. So
Yeah.
yes, and I remember that with my mom too, because I remember one of the neatest things was my mom died in November, and then in December for Christmas, they that hospice had an angel tree or whatever of all the people that passed away that there were their clients, and they actually gave me an ornament with her name on it. And like you said, they actually called me on my mama's birthday, Mother's Day. You know, the chaplain did, and that was awesome.
Yeah,
that meant a lot.
Yeah, one thing that we're doing now, we do a legacy program. So we sit down with the family. We can do things with thumbprints. We can do a memory book. But one thing that we partnered up with, we're doing a thing that's called bears. So if you have a loved one, like we just had a gentleman not too long ago, he was a big avid golfer. So we were able to take 3 of his golf shirts, and this lady made bears out of his golf shirts, and has a little collar and emblem. That way that their children and grandchildren can have that as a momentum to live, you know, to remember them by.
Yes.
So sweet. When you said bears, I didn't know that you actually meant like a little
There's
bear.
a real bear, it's a stuffed bear.
my
Yes.
And even though that you're over Georgia and South Carolina, your company is also in Alabama too.
We're not.
No?
I work for a local owned hospice. We're based in Georgia. We have 8 locations in Georgia. We have 2 in South Carolina. We have Greenville and Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay.
But we're looking to expand into Alabama. We're one of the fastest growing hospices in the Southeast. And how we have done that is basically from what the role that I do is really go out there educating. You know,
that's important.
we don't call our sales reps, you know, you don't want to call them a sales rep, you don't want to call them a liaison. We call them community educators. Our job is we have the heart of a teacher, and we teach people, and we get past all the mess because, you know, we want you to, you know, what drives me every day, if I sit down with a family and I explain to them all the things about hospice and they say no, that's on them.
Yeah.
But if I sit down with a family and they don't understand and they know all these myths and I can't communicate that with them, that's on me. So my job is I want to make sure you fully understand, because if you sit down and look at all the benefits, I had a physician one time said this, if you were to take all the benefits of hospice and you could put it into a pill, because you get financial help, you get clinical help, you get spiritual help, all the things that we do, you could sell that pill for probably $1 million.
Sure.
But this is a free this is a Medicare benefit. There's no co-pays, you pay nothing out of pocket.
Why would someone say no?
And then the biggest thing about hospice people don't realize, you can actually sign up for service, and let's say 5 months on the road, or 5 weeks on the road, or 5 days on the road going, I just don't think we need this. You call us, we don't come back out. But the biggest thing is once we start coming out, they get the extra help and the extra support, they're like, wow, where have y'all been?
Right.
Yeah.
Why haven't
And
I do
then-
this sooner?
And then the CARES program, which is also free. Why people don't use that, I don't understand either. But, you know, people have the misconception too with our program saying, oh, well, I have hospice, I can't have your program. Well, I can give you a break, a respite break. I can't give you the break on the days that hospice is there. So if hospice comes, say, Tuesdays and Thursdays, we could put somebody in there on, you know, Mondays or Wednesdays, or, you know, so that you have an extra, because, you know, we understand that, you know, hospice is not really, it is a break, but it's not a break as far as what we could provide. So, you know, we want to make sure that clients understand that just because you have hospice doesn't mean you can't have anything else in the home.
That's
know?
exactly right. And that's some of the misconceptions people don't realize.
Yes.
You know, we just had a story up in Greenville that happened, just blew me away, and I love this story. Our nurses are trained. If somebody calls our number, our nurses answer the calls 24/7. It's a nurse, it's not a call center. If somebody calls, they didn't call us to talk.
Yeah.
We go. So the nurse could tell, this was a holiday, she could tell the patient's caregiver, which was the wife, something was wrong. She went there and realized that she had a stroke. And so she looked at her and said, hey, we've got to call 911. She goes, I cannot leave my husband. We don't have anybody here. So we reached out, we paid for sitters to come sit with him. We called 911, we got her in the hospital. She came out of the hospital, went to a rehab. We put him in the rehab in respite with her. But here's the deal, we're in the South, so let's just be real. She was worried about one thing the whole time she was in rehab.
Him.
No, No.
No?
Who was at home taking care of my cat?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So our director went to her house, got her cat, brought her cat to her house, and had that cat there for 6 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So that's just things that people don't think about. What do we do?
She was giving respite for the cat.
Yeah. So
Well, that's part of your family too.
Yes,
Your
our fur
animals.
babies are. Yes,
Yeah.
they are.
I'd be worried. Oh, I'd be worried sick.
But you know,
That's-
that's wonderful because it's the little things sometimes that people worry so much about, and it's just what may be small to some people is big to other people, and you have to give them that respect and and take that into account. That hey, that means a lot to them, and that is a great story because we see it all the time too. Caregivers going downhill because they're so centered around taking care of that person that they don't go to their doctor's appointments. They let everything go because if they're taking, and we always say, if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to take, you're not going to be worth 10 cents to the other person. And so how wonderful that is that hospice was able to do that.
And that's the biggest thing we talk about. That's one thing that I love about hospice the most is we look at the whole family as a unit of care. When you're on a plane, they tell you, put your oxygen mask on first before you try to help somebody else. Well, a lot of times when we're in the house, our social workers, our chaplains, our nurses, our CNAs, they get to learn a lot about the family dynamics, and we're able to help in a lot of different other resources. I'll never forget, we had a story one time. I actually went with one of our social workers, and we went to a gentleman's house. This guy was in his late 50s. He had stage 4 cancer. He only had a few weeks to live. Both his parents were deceased, but this man could not give up because he had a problem. The problem was he had a 21-year-old brother that was Down syndrome. And in his mind is, who's going to take care of my brother? Our social worker was able to get it all organized, that we had a trust for him, that he set up a trust for him, everything's going to be taken care of, and had a place for him to live. So when that man figured out we did all this work for him that he couldn't do because he was in a hospital bed, that man was able to pass peacefully. So that's just resources that you don't know that you need them till you need them.
What a gift that is.
And they go above and beyond. I will say that. Yes.
I can't imagine why someone would say no to these services besides just not being educated on them.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we had one client who had hospice in, and the worker, she was awesome. It was Christmas time, and it was a grandmother, and she was worried to death that she wasn't going to be able to get the presents for her grandkids, get them wrapped, all that kind of stuff. So they made a list. The little CNA, the little aide, she went and, with approval through hospice and everything, they went and got everything for her and everything, and she brought it back to the grandmother, and she sat in there with the grandmother and wrapped all the presents and put the name tags, so that the grandmother had peace of mind that, her grandkids were taken care of.
Well, and we just did the same thing. We just had one of our aides do the same thing. We just had a grandmother that she knew she wasn't going to be here to see her granddaughter, have her 16th birthday. She was not going to be here to see her granddaughter get married. So they sat down together and wrote out a bunch of letters and cards, and they've got them stacked up that they're actually going to give to the daughter. So just things that you don't really think about that, in our industry, we think about all that stuff because, our job is we are people taking care of people. Yeah. We're a service. We don't sell different kind of things. We're a service industry, and I feel like that God put me on earth to do this job, to go redefine for people what hospice really is.
Isn't that wonderful?
It is. I have a lot of happy tears this morning and sad tears. But just to know that there is that kindness and that ability to help people, and people like yourself that work in this industry that are there just to help spread that kindness and that goodness, and to allow people to pass peacefully or to not suffer. I mean, it's just a really beautiful
and allow
thing.
the caregiver not be alone.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you a funny story. So before I worked in Georgia, I was here in Alabama, and I was working for another hospice company. I was at a Walmart in Center, Alabama.
Okay.
Went through a line. I bought me a Coke and some peanuts. The girl that waited on me, she seen my name tag, and she said, "You work in hospice. There's no way I could do what you do."
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, I can't do what you do. And so I just asked her a question. I said, "So, how many hospice patients have you seen walk through your line today?" And she said, that has got to be the dumbest question I've ever been asked. I mean, they wouldn't be walking through my line. And so I kind of went through the 4 windows with her. The cashier behind her started crying. She said, can I talk to you? And when I started talking to her, she basically said, hey, that is my dad. I'm having to work 4 jobs to help pay for medication because I lost my mom. Now I've moved my dad in with me. We can't afford it. And so we were able to help her with her dad because we were able to come in because whatever diagnosis we pick you up on, we pick up that medication. We pay for the equipment. We help with a lot of stuff. So we were able to help her that she didn't have to work all them jobs as much.
Help improve her quality of life and allow her that time just to be able to visit with her dad. All right, well, we have more things to cover. It's 8:15. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back. You're watching Rise and Shine right here on WEAC TV 24.
Some say college isn't for single parents or people who work full-time. I'm here to prove them wrong. I'm a first-generation American, the father of Dion, and a non-traditional student at Gadsden State Community College. As a sergeant in the Army National Guard, I've watched soldiers with degrees progress faster in their careers. So today, I'm in school, involved in the Veterans Upward Bound program, and excited to see what's in store for my career. I truly am earning my wings at Gadsden State.
Come out and check out the Alabama Tractor difference. We can take care of all your needs of parts, sales, and service for RTVs, zero-turns, and tractors and construction equipment. See us here in Lincoln at 620 Speedway Industrial Drive. Or come visit us here in Asheville at 275 6th Avenue, or give us a call at 205-594-7000.
At Southern States Bank, we pride ourselves on being your bank. We're your neighbors and involved in the community. We're the bank featuring the Southern Rewards checking account, a cashback account with no ATM fees. We are on the cutting edge and always have a smiling face to help you out. So come to Southern States Bank, where we are committed to great service and being a great neighbor. Let us be the bank for you and your business.
I'm Ellen Parnell, Parnell Insurance Agency. We've been here in Oxford and Alabama, Tallapoosa, Georgia since 1990. With Auto Owners Insurance, we're able to give customers competitive pricing along with excellent coverages. Parnell Insurance can handle all of your personal, commercial, and life insurance needs. We have a very experienced staff, both personal and commercial. All together, we've got about 125 years experience. Come see what our insurance agency can do for you in Oxford, Alabama, and Tallapoosa, Georgia.
Auto Owners Insurance.
At Bentley Prosthetic and Medical Supply, we care about you. We offer custom prosthetics, orthotics, diabetic shoes, and durable medical supplies. We're located here in Alexandria, Alabama, where it's a country feel but professional care. Come see us today.
Rise and shine, everyone. It's 8:17 on your Friday morning. Yay! Kenny, are you ready? Yeah, are you ready?
I'm a little bit loose now. I just don't want to hurt nothing. I don't want to hurt nothing.
We don't want you to either. But October 25th, my goodness, how time flies.
No doubt, it's Halloween
Wow,
next
it
week.
almost is. It's one of my favorites. I'm excited. So, Kenny, thank you for coming in and sharing your knowledge and your expertise with our viewers. I know that there's been some really great information. If someone is interested in learning more, what would you tell our viewers who are watching that think, my goodness, I have this situation where I could benefit from hospice? Where would they start? Where would they go?
Basically, if you're at your doctor's office or if you're in a hospital, whatever, all the social workers, case managers at hospitals, most physicians will tell you, and just ask them, say, hey, and when we do ask a lot of physicians, do you refer to hospice? And they say, we do wait sometimes till the family brings it up to us. So just ask your physician and say, hey, here's some things going on with my mom or my dad or my grandparents or whatever, and we think we need a higher level of care. We might need some help at home. have that conversation with your physicians. They are very great to talk about it because it's a big benefit to them because they worry about their patients.
Sure.
You know, and they want a hospice company that they can trust and know that their patients are going to be taken care of. And that's one thing that we do. If we do get a patient on service, we do give information back because the way hospice works, a lot of people don't understand. To me, this is the most amazing part, is we're going to send out a nurse to our patients. We say at least minimum once or twice a week. So they are the eyes and the ears of our physician. So we stay in contact with their physician. We stay in contact with the physician that referred. And basically, every month, we go through every one of our patients and we talk about what's changes, what are the changes, what are we doing to help, what are we doing to keep the pain and management under control. And we give that report back to their local physician once a month and kind of give them an update of what's going on with their patients, keeping them kind of updated.
And people may have a misconception too, because hospice has their own physician, correct?
Yes. We have a hospice medical director, but people, there's one of the biggest myths we hear, if I go on hospice, I have to give up all my medications and I have to give up my doctor. That is not true. No. Then they say, I can't go back to the hospital. Yes, you can. Our goal is when we have a patient on hospice, we want to be your 911. Call us first. The nurse is going to answer the call, and she's going to give you two answers. I'm either on my way to your house or meet me at the emergency room.
Yes.
We can do a lot of things in the home, but we can't set a hip if they break a hip.
Sure.
So we're going to send them back. We're going to communicate. A lot of times our nurses will go to the hospital, meet the patient and family up there, have the conversation with the ER staff, letting them know that they are on hospice and what's the best benefit to get them out, to get them back home or whatever we got to do. But as far as medications, we do have a hospice medical director, but he communicates, or she, with your local physician. So we want your local physician as involved or less involved as they want to be. Most physicians like, give me patient status updates on my patients. Let me know about medication changes. But don't call me at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's what your medical director's for.
Yes, that's what I was about to say, because a lot of people don't realize that hospices have their own doctor.
Yes.
And that's, you guys meet. And,
we meet
and
once
like
a
you
month.
said, the nurse is kind of like the liaison between, and so, yes.
No idea.
Yeah, so the way, like I talked about earlier, insurance dictates how we're taken care of. So all three of us, we can't go to the doctor unless we're really sick, but every 6 months. That's all insurance will pay. Right. So with us, we're sending out a nurse every week. And they're getting to see you and run tests and check all these vitals and stuff that we can't get. Right. So they're getting a lot more. That's why we say we're the highest level of health care you can get.
And that really makes sense now. And advocates, that is that a word that you use often? Because it comes to my mind that you have someone advocating for you and your family and the best well-being of all, and that's really an amazing peace of mind.
Yes.
And they need to advocate, all those people watching out there, they need to advocate for themselves too. I mean, if you're in the hospital and the nurse or the social worker doesn't bring up hospice, I always say the worst thing they can say is, once you have that connection, the worst thing they can say is no.
The worst thing you're not there yet, and that's a good thing. But hey, let's get this service as soon as possible. And I'm going to share a story with you because I had a physician the other day tell me this. He said, Kenny, you said something in your presentation that blew me away. Because here's the way I present hospice to a family. If I were to go meet with a family today, here's the way I do it. I say, I'm Kenny. Let me talk to you about a Medicare benefit you're entitled to, you've worked hard your whole life for. We give the highest level of health care a patient can get wherever they call home. But let me walk you through what our patients look like. And I go through the ADL changes, functional decline, rapid decline, because the numbers show if we can get patients on hospice sooner, they live 30 to 40% longer. So a physician asked me the other day, he goes, well, I've got a problem with that. How can you prove to me a patient can live longer on hospice versus not be on hospice? I said, great question. In 1950, a Harvard professor did a study. He brought in a bucket of water, he put 5 mice in, and he timed how long these mice would swim before they drowned. They swam about 20 minutes. He pulled them out, he dried them off, he gave them food, let them rest, and he threw them right back in the bucket. How long do you think they swam the second time?
30 minutes. I don't know, longer.
You're not even close. 60 hours.
What? Just by being taken care of.
The point was, when they were thrown in to begin with, they had no hope. The second time, they knew if they got in trouble, they were going to have help. That's what we do
that's a
for our
good
patients. That's what
analogy.
hospice is.
Yes.
Hospice is not giving up. Hospice is hope.
Yes, that's correct.
I don't know what else to say after that. I mean, that's beautiful. Hospice is hope, and we
Yeah.
all need hope.
We do need
Yes.
hope.
I mean, and that's a beautiful thing to
Well,
have.
and the thing I say this all the time, you can go 3 weeks without food. You can go 3 days without water. You can go 3 minutes without air. But you can't live 1 second without hope.
That's true. That's very, very, very true. I agree with that. And
Wow.
hope is sometimes the only thing that some patients have.
Exactly.
And and when that's gone, that's it.
And what else
Yep.
is there? Like you said?
Yes,
Yep.
I agree.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yes,
That is powerful. Well, I don't even. I mean, I don't even know where to go from there because that is so powerful. I want to definitely tell our viewers to make sure to reach out to that and to make sure that you have all of the knowledge to make the best decisions for yourself and for your loved ones.
And I'm sure if they called a hospice, like if you just Googled a hospice, your
Yes.
local hospice, they would be more than happy to talk to you about
Yep.
it, because I have never met someone at any, we have vendors that come to our monthly events there, and there's some that are hospices. I have never met a hospice worker that didn't want to talk about it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what they do,
Yeah.
I mean, so I feel pretty safe in saying that if they were to Google a number locally,
Yes.
or a hospice near me, that
And
they
that's the
could,
biggest thing. And that's what, I ask when we interview people that come that think they want to do what we do. This blows me away. They say they're scary. I said, so what scares you about this job? I don't know if I can talk to people about this. But then you come back and ask them 6 months later, what's your favorite part about this job? I love talking to families about hospice. Because to walk away knowing you made a change in their life because you redefined something they didn't really understand.
a light bulb went off in
It
their
went
head.
off, yeah.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
wonderful. And we do
Wonderful.
want to take a moment to thank all of those who have dedicated your lives to helping others in the form of health care and whatever it is that you do,
Caregiver.
caregiving.
Yes.
Thank you for that, because that means so much. And you're making a huge difference in the world, even by making a huge difference in one person's
Exactly.
world.
Yes.
And so it's very commendable, and I appreciate it so much. And
it's-
thank you for
and
what
it's
you
so
y'all.
do.
important for, like you said, for people to be at home with their
Yeah.
loved ones. I mean, who would want to be in the hospital?
And that's the thing, you talk about home, people think, well, my house. No, that's not home. Home is familiar smells, familiar sounds, your pets, everything around you, because people don't get well in the hospital. I mean, I don't know why they got to come check your blood pressure at 3 o'clock in the morning. Let me sleep.
Yes,
But
exactly.
people tend to do better at home when they're around their loved ones and they're around their family.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Well, thank you so
y'all.
much.
I've enjoyed it.
Yes, and we've
Thank you
enjoyed
so
having you.
much.
Thank you for taking your time and coming over here to talk with us and sharing this awesome information with our viewers. And for Ellen, thank you for inviting Kenny. And you have an event coming up soon that's also going to be very educational and informative. Of course, you have your community health series that's happening this upcoming Tuesday.
Yes, from 10 to 12 at the Oxford Civic Center. And we have, it's Cancer Awareness Month
Yes.
this month. We have some wonderful speakers that are your friends.
You do, yes. We're going to be hearing from Tara Fulford with the Never Surrender, and I believe Teresa is going to
be there
join
as
as
well.
well. Yeah, and she is going to be
Man Up.
talk with Man Up Gadsden,
Yeah.
talking about, that's Teresa Taylor, Man Up Gadsden, talking about men's health, and that's something that is not always a topic that is of discussion, and it's important. Men's health is important as well, of course. And so she's going to be sharing really great information
It's
about
free,
Man Up
for
Gadsden.
free. We have vendors
Yes.
and door prizes Tuesday 10 to 12 at the Oxford Civic Center. And then November 8th, we're having our annual Alzheimer's Caregivers Conference. We have Lori LeBay come in. She's our keynote speaker. She's been on Oprah, Dr.
Yeah.
Phil. She is fantastic. We have all kinds of free speakers, free breakfast, free lunch. Go to our website, go to our the Alabama Cares Program, East Alabama on Facebook, and you can the QR code is on there for you to register, but
So
it's
there's
free.
still time to register
yes,
for that
and
too?
it's going to be at Jacksonville State University at Fort McClellan, free CEUs for nurses and for social workers, but it's also for the community, for caregivers as well, because we have Bill Miller coming to speak about legal issues.
He's great.
And we have Medicare Part D sign up to do. They're going to do comparisons for their medications and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
All
So
free.
any of these free services, you
And
know.
free food.
Free
Yeah.
food, yeah, that's what always gets you.
Yeah, you know that's just like the little bonus on there. So, and again, if you only know what you know, and there are people that are there to educate and to help, and there is help out there, and so all you have to do is ask for it, right?
That's right.
Reach out.
Right.
So we'll see you there at that community health series.
Yes,
That'll be
hope
fun. So
so.
it's
See you
Tuesday.
there.
So with that, we're going to wish you a wonderful rest of your day and a happy weekend, and we will see you back here Monday morning. Where we have Alabama State Senator Andrew Jones will be joining us Monday, so we'll look forward to that. So again, have a great weekend. We'll see you back here Monday morning on Rise and Shine.
Bye. Have a good weekend.
Hi everyone, welcome to Let's Talk About It. I am Marquita Mansfield and I'm sitting here with Erica Wilson from the Olive Branch Counseling Center. So today we'll be talking about